The crackin is hungry, and its tentacles are coming to get you. I have just had a great day watching that press conference. I'll tell you, I felt so empowered by the facts that they brought out, the information they brought out, because I have been telling people for years and years that elections are being corrupted. That for a long time I said, your vote doesn't count because people are installed in government, and I've seen so many times that, during the last 20 years that people who should never have gotten in have managed to do so. I mean, it's just been crazy. Seriously. Can't imagine how some of these people who, have horrible track records, who've been in politics for 40 years, 20 years, and come out with the most horrendous ideas and messed up things to say, get anywhere. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So, this situation is very deep. It's not just surface voter, issues. These are people that are entrenched in the government, in all facets of the government, who have been basically manipulating the dialogue of mainstream media news and newspapers and our school and education and pretty much everything about society for the last probably 30, maybe even longer, 30 years, but at least 30 years. And, when people are manipulating stuff like that, when it's gone that far, and they're that entrenched, yes.
Are you on the phone?
No, I'm on live podcasting.
I'm fixing dinner. You want a chicken sandwich?
Sure. Anyway, when people are that entrenched, that's a great thing to be in the middle of a podcast. Do you want a chicken sandwich? Sure. But, when people are that entrenched in the government, when people are that corrupt and that entrenched in the government, they've got all sorts of things that they've put in. Almost every single bill that has been passed has some sort of thing tagged to it that has absolutely nothing to do with what the bill is about. I mean, you can look at anything that's been passed in at least... I didn't start reading actual bills that were put through until about 2008, maybe. No, I'll take that back, because I read the Patriot Act information and stuff. And so when that came out, I read that. And God, it was hellacious to get through. But I didn't start, really delving into stuff like that until I was in my 30s. And, I had no interest. I didn't have the attention span, and it really didn't, to me, literally I hated politics in my 20s, and I was very anti-political, and yeah, I voted when I turned 18, and I voted probably again in my early 20s. I voted in elections, but I didn't know what I was voting for. I voted along with, family members or my husband at the time or whatever was going on, and I just kind of followed, or I'd see somebody on TV in their advertisements, and I'd go by that. And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people just vote without ever doing a dang bit of research on somebody. And so when you have somebody like Donald Trump who comes into government, who is not entrenched in the government, who has no contacts or ties with, past political agendas, who has never written any kind of bill or had a lobbyist, paying them to do something for them, or, had anything to do with any kind of agenda. What?
Barbecue.
What kind? I'm right in the middle of a podcast, babe. What kind of
Barbecue.
mustard kind or regular?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Jeez. He doesn't know what a podcast is, I guess. He knows what a podcast is. He just wants to eat. Anyway, when you have someone who has not been entrenched in the government, who has not been paid off, who's not taking a paycheck, who has lived rich all his pretty much adult life and doesn't need the money from the kickbacks from all these different things. And he comes into the government, and the people rally behind him and elect him and basically kick out the person who's supposed to be installed to help the agenda of this past administration and the one before that. And I'm saying, yes, I'm saying the Bush administration, they were no different than the Obama administration. They're all entrenched politicians. The only difference is the label of the name. Donald Trump's not a Republican. Donald Trump is really an independent. I mean, yes, he has Republican and conservative values, but he's not a rhino. He's not an entrenched politician. And I do think that, honestly, this Democrat-Republican entrenchment kind of stuff needs to stop. And I honestly think that, when we get through this election garbage and it comes out who is paying for this and where the money takes you, to see who's involved, how many fingers are in the honey pot, I think that every single one of the people that are involved with it need to be tried for treason. I mean, that's what it is. It's treason. It's subversion of the Constitution that they signed and swore to protect and serve. I mean, I swore on the Constitution to protect and serve it as a notary. And I did it specifically in 2015 just so that I could say that I swore to protect the Constitution of my state and of this country. And the older gentleman who helped me get through the thing and get it signed and, get my notary stuff together, he was in his 90s. And he was a World War II vet, and I was taking care of him at the time, and me and my boyfriend, and he was my boyfriend's mentor, and he was a brilliant, like, common law kind of guy. I mean, he knew his common law, and he loved it that I was researching stuff, and I would print him off something to read every morning with his, breakfast, and and he was just totally excited about it, that I, was able to do that for him. He would buy me printer ink. I'd tell him I was getting low on printer ink, and he would say, "Here's $60, go buy more printer ink." I can't not have my morning news, And so, people, there are people out there who do the research, who are, but it's a dying breed. A lot of these people have been taught, in school, these liberal values, these twisted historical facts that aren't historical facts. They've been swayed to believe certain things, and then they get into these liberal arts colleges, and they're being fed all this garbage, and they're being peer pressured into, protesting things, and if they dare open their mouth that they don't agree, they're basically shunned or treated like pariahs, so what do? You fall in line, you get in the lockstep, or you get left behind. You do not wind up getting good jobs, you do not wind up having friends, you do not wind up being part of the society that you live in, and that's kind of the first stage of the teachings that these people are putting out there, is to indoctrinate the children. So when you get somebody like Donald Trump who comes in, who's not into the indoctrination of people, who's going to come out, whether he sounds like a jerk about it or not, and tell you the damn truth, he's going to straight up say to you, this is what the deal is. These people are fake news, they're lying. These people are corrupt. These people are involved in this. These people are involved in that. Yeah, he's going to piss a lot of people off. There have been plenty of attempts at him for his life. There have been plenty of attempts to remove him from government, or to come up with some cockamamie bull story to get him out of the government, or to arrest him, or to destroy him in one manner or another, or defame him. All because his actions are going to cause this crackin's tentacles to reach out and grab every single one of these corrupt, traitorous bastards and put them on the stand for their crimes. And he's going to drain the swamp. And I'm hoping in the process that countries like Venezuela will rise up and take back their governments. Maybe once we get our stuff straight, maybe we can help them. You know, there are a lot of countries out there who have been manipulated and just, you know, completely screwed over by corruption. And so, you know, we have an opportunity here to drain the world's swamp, to get rid of the world's corruption, and to hopefully start anew. You know, to be able to trade with each other, to be able to have ideas and innovations and, you know, industry and all sorts of things that will bring us into a new and wonderful existence where people can prosper and people's ideas are encouraged and free thought and free thinking is encouraged and entrepreneurship's encouraged. And I'm talking for everyone, whether they be black, white, green, purple, blue, Christian, Jewish, pagan, I don't care. Whatever you are, you should be able to be whatever the heck it is you want to be. You want to be an artist, be the best artist you can be. You want to be a business owner, be the best business owner. You want to be a designer of automobiles or rocketry or, you know, a computer programmer, whatever it is that you want to be. You should have the opportunity and the education and be given, you know, the skills or have the opportunity to get those skills. And it should be appreciated. I mean, you know, and we should be able to prosper. We should be free to speak our minds, to say what we think, to know the truth, to have our news sources not give us garbage, not give us opinion pieces. I mean, you know, there's two levels. Opinion pieces are great, but you choose to go look at those. But we want factual news. And so, I don't know why my TV just came back on. But it did. Anyway, right in the middle of that. But I think that was the Next News Network just popping up out of the clear blue. But, you know, we really need the freedom to grow and the freedom to make America great again. And actually, we need the freedom to make America great, period. Because it hasn't been free or unmanipulated in a very, very long time. And so, we need to do that. We need to bring this country back into the power of the people, just like Trump said in his inauguration speech. He's giving the power back to the people. And the entrenched government is flipping out because they don't want the people to have the power. They want to keep the power. They don't want us to have control, you know, in any way like our ancestors, like my ancestors who came here on the Mayflower, who fought in the Revolutionary War, who built this country, who I have a relative who was one of the first Supreme Court justices under Washington, and he fought to not have slavery in Boston, in Massachusetts actually, in Boston too, but you know, when Massachusetts, you know, wrote their constitution for their state, he said it's basically states that slavery is illegal in Massachusetts, and he fought for that. You know, there are people out there that we don't know our ancestors anymore. We don't know anything about our past, and that's because of the way our school systems are, and the way our families are, and there's no pride in your family for the past, and you should be well educated in all manners and respects, be it family history, be it American history, you know. So I say, release the Kraken. Let him suck up all the swamp creatures. And let's start this country back at 1775 and have a great 1776. Because that's what